Can this character beat that character? The question that always starts feuds between fandoms, but I think what I'm about to answer may start a war so big it'll bring 2020 to its ugly end. When talking about power scaling, one of the most popular matchups is the whole Goku vs Superman debate. This is because Goku is without a doubt the most popular anime character of all time. Heck, he was going to be the mascot for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and Superman is one of the most famous superheroes of all time, and also one of few characters as popular as Goku who can also scale to him, especially post Dragon Ball Super. And so, when people try to scale their favourite characters to Dragon Ball, they almost always have to use one of the weaker characters, the most common of which is Krillin, because he's pretty much a meme now due to how often he gets killed. But place him in almost any other franchise and he would dominate as one of, if not the most powerful beings. Current Krillin is strong enough to casually destroy planets, something most characters in all of fiction would struggle to do. But since he's set in a universe where the main characters are basically gods, he doesn't really tend to get much of the recognition for his fighting abilities. However, there is one man, a legend to some, who overcame all odds and cemented himself as the greatest warrior on Earth, even though he can't even break 15 tiles. The Guardian of the Earth and World Martial Arts Champion,
Mr. Satan, get out here, you!
That's right, of all characters from the Dragon Ball series, I've decided to go with my guy Mark as the focus of this video, and his opponents will be all the heroes from One Punch Man. Separately, not all at once, and here's why. Mr. Satan is a human who lacks the ability to use ki and gained all his skills from physical training, like most heroes from One Punch Man. So I figured, if he were in that series, he'd be far closer to actually being one of the strongest. And so, I decided to find out which heroes from the Hero Association the champ can actually best in a fight. Plus, at the end of the video, I'm gonna sort him into a hero class and rank. But before we get into any of that, let's go over some of the champ's feats, because even though he appears weak, for a human, he's really powerful. That's how he became the world champion. Let's start with his speed, which appears to be pretty superhuman. In Dragon Ball Z episode 254, he managed to move so quickly that he actually disappeared from sight for a few seconds. Not even the greatest martial artists of our world can pull off such a feat, so Mr. Satan clearly is talented as far as humans go. In fact, I believe that if he underwent the same training as Krillin, he'd probably be the most powerful human in the show. Now for strength, we look no further than when he pulled 4 tour buses, punched a hole in one, ripped 3 phone books in half, karate chopped 14 tiles in half, and sent a much larger and heavier man flying across the ring with a single aerial kick. Not a bad set of strength feats for a regular guy when you think about it. I could never have done anything even close to that. Now for durability, we can look at when Perfect Cell sent him flying into a mountain and he came back with only a minor nose injury. My man got up in minutes. Most people would have had broken bones from the force needed to be flung that far, combined with the fall after impact, so it's actually amazing how well he bounced back from it. Now I'm sure there are people out there who can match some of these feats separately, however the strongest tend to not be very fast, and the fast tend to not be very durable, so the fact that Mr. Satan is capable of all 3 at such a high level makes him overall stronger than anyone in real life. Now since there are so many heroes in One Punch Man, I've sorted them into 3 categories: can, can't, and maybe. To make sure this video doesn't get too long, I'm going to name the hero along with their class, rank, and a brief explanation on how they match up to Hercule. Also, I'm going to base my decisions on the anime continuity, which just ended its 2nd season, meaning that all these character strengths will be based on information from the plot up to the end of season 2, along with the OVAs currently available if they provide any information. And if I still can't find any, then I'll resort to information from the manga. Now, remember that this video is mostly my opinion, so if you disagree, that's fine, even though you're wrong. So with the trivialities now out of the way, let us begin. This category is for the heroes in the association who Mr. Satan can't beat at all in a fair fight. If a character normally uses a weapon, or some form of augmentation that isn't natural to them, they can still make this category if they can beat our hero without it. So let's begin. Now since no Class C's made this category, we're going to start with the obvious, Class B, Rank 7, Bold Cape, because duh. Up next is Class B Rank 1, Hellish Blizzard. Her natural psychic powers would easily overwhelm the champ. For example, she could smash him with the very ground they stood on like she did against Saitama. Taking us up to the next hero class, we have Class A rank 37, Snakebite Snack. Now I didn't expect him to be in this category, however this one moment where he one hit killed a monster crow much bigger than Spopovich is what sealed the deal for me, so Snack would just about defeat our champ. Next up is Class A rank 10, Stinger. His natural strength, speed and skill are what make his spear stronger. Give Hercule the spear and I honestly doubt he'd be able to take down even one of the sea folk, 4 of which Stinger beat with single spear thrusts because like Cyborg said,
"It's the man, not the machine."
So I think Stinger, even without his weapon, could best Mr. Satan in hand-to-hand combat. This next spot goes to the first of the many tank top users, Class A rank 9, Tank Top Vegetarian. As the second most powerful of the tank top army behind the insanely powerful tank top master and a purely hand-to-hand fighter who uses no augmentations, we can assume that tank top Vegetarian is very powerful. In fact, his higher rank would imply that he's stronger than Snack, therefore he should be able to beat Mr. Satan. Next up is Class A rank 8, Death Gatling. Now unlike many heroes in the maybe category, we can't put him in a situation where he doesn't have any weapons, because the only one he'd lose is his backup knife, as the gun is part of his body, and as we saw, Mr. Satan can't dodge bullets. Plus, Death Gatling never seems to show any fatigue, even though he's constantly carrying that heavy gun, which signals enhanced strength and stamina. Jumping to the top 5 of A class, we have Class A rank 5, Heavy Tank Loincloth. Now his higher rank implies he's stronger than Tank Top Vegetarian, but let's look at some feats. He smashed a criminal into the ground in seconds, which implies enhanced speed and reflexes. He also rushed to Garo's position in an instant and broke through the concrete floor with just one punch. I really don't think our champ stands a chance. Next is Class A rank 4, Bushy Drill, an atomic samurai disciple who I believe is too powerful for Mr. Satan even without his sword. We don't know much about him from the show, however I've done some research and found out that he was strong enough to hold back 2 characters wearing battle suits that would easily overpower the champ. Up next is Class A rank 3, Okama Taichi, another disciple of the atomic samurai, and while he, yes it is a guy, doesn't look very physically imposing, I've done some research because we don't have any feats from him either, and apparently he can swing his sword with enough force to make blades of air. I'm sorry, but I don't think Mr. Satan can stand up to that kind of overwhelming physical power, even if Oka, whatever, was swordless, because his natural strength is what creates such force. Now for the last of the Atomic Samurai disciples, Class A rank 2, E-Iron. First off, he is the number 1 Atomic Samurai disciple, so that would imply he's the most powerful among the 3. However, even without it, we have feats. He can't be slower than Mr. Satan, because Mr. Satan's best speed feat is disappearing for a few seconds, but he still couldn't dodge a bullet, while this guy dodged a full sneak attack from a monster way faster than a bullet. He also has a very high pain tolerance, as shown when he was still able to fight even after losing an entire arm. He can also slash his sword with great force many times in a second, meaning his strength combined with his high speed and reflexes would make him too powerful for Mr. Satan even one-handed and without his sword. Now to finish Class A, we have Class A rank 1, Amai Mask. This guy casually one-shots monsters that would beat Mr. Satan, so he clearly qualifies for this category. Even Fubuki is afraid of his power. Moving up a class, we have Class S rank 17, Puri Puri Prisoner. Okay, considering this guy managed to land blows that actually knocked the restrained Deep Sea King down, I think it's pretty fair to say that he'd wreck our beloved world champion. Next up is Class S rank 16, Tank Top Master. First off, my man can pick up this giant block of concrete with one hand, let alone fling it with such high velocity, and let's not forget when he made the ground shake with a punch in his fight with Garo. Next is Class S rank 15, Metal Bat. This man, after beating multiple giant centipedes, getting beaten down by the most powerful centipede, and then receiving an amount of hits from Garo that would have killed almost any other hero, nearly beat Garo if his sister hadn't stopped him. Hercule would do jack. Now we have the all too familiar Class S rank 14 Demon Cyborg. We've seen enough from him to know that his cybernetic enhancements would clearly make him way too powerful for Mr. Satan. Up next, Class S rank 13 Flashy Flash. We get it, he's really fast. He managed to stab 100 Eyes Octopus in every eye within a matter of seconds. No way our champ can match up to that kind of speed, even if Flash doesn't have his weapon. Next up, Class S rank 12 Watchdog Man. He made Garo run away, need I say more? Moving on, we have Class S Rank 11 Super Alloy Blackluster. Apparently, he has the highest defense stat in the entire Hero Association, so there's no way our champ can touch him. Also, he's really strong, but he
Love defense!
Starting off the S-Class top 10 is Class S Rank 10 Pig God. If Mr. Satan manages to get grabbed by him, it's over, because the guy will swallow him whole. But even if he can't, I believe that if they were to fight, he would wear Hercule down thanks to his durability. He's even poison proof. Besides that, he's also really strong since he was casually able to burst through a concrete wall with a tackle. Next up, Class S Rank 9 Drive Knight. Another powerful cyborg whose enhancements would overwhelm Hercule even without his tactical transformations. Moving on, we have Class S Rank 8 Zombie Man. He can't be killed. And I guess he's pretty tough. Skipping a few ranks, we have Class S Rank 5 Child Emperor. I was going to put him in the maybe category, however my research changed things because it turns out that he is actually physically strong, fast, and durable. Now I would show you the evidence, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just say that a machine determined him to be stronger than Stinger, who also made this category, so it only makes sense that Child Emperor does too. This is all without his gadgets, by the way. Next up is Class S Rank 4 Atomic Samurai. Considering his disciples are in this category, how could he not? And to back it up, look at how effortlessly he deflects Melzargard's attacks with hardly any fatigue. Now for the top 3, Class S Rank 3 Silverfang. Okay, look, the guy managed to tank a shot that blew off E-Iron's left arm with hardly any injury, and look at what he did to Garo. No way can the champ compete. Taking the penultimate spot, we have Class S Rank 2 Terrible Tornado. Just like her sister, her psychic powers would easily overwhelm Hercule. I mean, she dragged a meteor from space just to kill a giant dinosaur. Talk about overkill. Finally, we end it with Class S Rank 1 Blast. Now as of Season 2, we are yet to see Blast, however he would definitely beat Mr. Satan because first off, he's number 1, and even though we ain't seen him fight, it's confirmed he managed to bring Sentichoro to the brink of death, so he ain't no fraud. And that is every character that Mr. Satan cannot at all beat in a fight. And before we get into the can and maybe categories, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Have you guys ever wanted some wavy looking anime t-shirts, hoodies, or accessories? Well, the lads over at Kaioken Clothing will hook you up with the very best quality anime-based streetwear. Check out the store in the description and use the code TELBY for 10% off your entire order and become a true fan of your favorite anime. This category can actually be split into 3 more. The would easily lose without their weapon category, the don't know much about them category, and the fight could go either way with or without weapons category. You'd be surprised by some of the entries in here because of their rank, but remember, many high ranking heroes, while powerful, wouldn't be without the weapons they use, and our resident champ is a martial artist who's quite capable by human standards. So with that brief explanation out of the way, let's begin the don't know much about them category, starting with Unknown Class Warrior Pandaman. We only saw him once in the show where he just got beaten up by Tatsumaki after falling victim to a spell, and since we don't know his class, we can't really gauge his strength. Up next is Unknown Class Warrior Tank Top Mask. Again, we only saw him once and it was when he got beaten up by Garo, so we don't know his true capabilities, and without his class, we don't know who to compare him to. Next up is Unknown Class Warrior Tank Top Swimmer. Just like Tank Top Mask, we only saw Garo beat him, but I assume he's a good swimmer. Next is Unknown Class Warrior Tank Top Jungle. Just like the other tank tops, we only saw Garo beat him. Yet another, we have Unknown Class Warrior Tank Top Hatter. Just like the other tank toppers, Garo knocked him out cold, but we see he's pretty ballsy as he was the one who got the tank topper army to attack Garo, so he gets points for bravery, I guess. And finally, our last tank top for a while, Unknown Class Warrior Tank Top Racer. Again, we don't know anything about him, Garo just beats him up. Now back to the heroes we know the class of, starting with Class C Rank 283 Horsebone. Now, he's low Class C, so I'd assume he's weak, but at the same time, he's been put in charge of a city, so I'm actually not sure because that implies the Hero Association trust in his abilities. He's mostly here because I can't tell if he's a guy in a horse suit or actually part horse. And finally, Class B Rank 50 Jet Nice Guy. Now I'm a bit back and forth with this one because him currently in the manga would beat Mr. Satan, but him as of the anime is far weaker. And while he is a cyborg, He's a pretty weak cyborg, so I do feel like it could go either way because we don't know how strong his cyborg body that fought the Deep Sea King was. Next up is the would easily lose without their weapon category. This is for the characters who are only strong because of the weapons or augmentations they use, so let's waste no time starting with X Class A hero Serial Bomber. Without his bombs, he wouldn't stand a chance. Next up, Class C rank 221 Dynamite Man. Without his dynamite, he can't fight. Next, we have Class C rank 141 Gas Mask Cowboy. He uses a firearm and lasso. Without them, he'd be done. Moving on, we have Class C rank 111 Armored Assistant Manager. Without his armor, he'd lose because he's just a guy. Moving into the top 100 of C class, we have Class C rank 85 Battery Man, who without his battery pack and armor would lose. Moving up a class, we have Class B rank unknown Darkness Blade, who without his sword and armor can't win. Next is Class B rank 99 Shooter, who without his bow and arrows is defenseless. After that, we have Class B rank 74 Lily, and without her 3-section staff, she'd lose to the champ. Up next is Class B rank 43 Gun, who's nothing to Hercule without his guns. Moving up a class, we have Class A rank 36 Chain Toad, who would lose without his Karasigama as he just pulls off average skills with it. Up next is Class A rank 30 Peach Terry. He'd lose without his sword as he doesn't seem to have any exceptional physical attributes, but I'm sure he's decent with the sword. After that is Class A rank 27 Smile Man. I really like him, but he'd lose without his kendama as he's a pretty scrawny guy. Next up is Class A rank 26 Golden Ball. That guy uses a slingshot. He isn't going to be much of a brawler. Moving further on, Class A rank 17 Lightning Genji, who can't rely on his roller skates and charged rods in a fair fight, so he'd definitely lose. Now, into the top 10, we have Class A rank 7 Magic Trick Man, who's just a skinny guy who uses magic tricks, so I don't think he can beat the champ. The last of this class is Class A rank 6 Blue Fire, who actually uses a portable flamethrower, which is actually really disappointing because I thought he can bend fire, but better than the guy from the One Punch Man OVA. Without it, he's toast. Finally, from S class, we have Class S rank 6 Metal Knight, who unlike Child Emperor, isn't physically capable, which is why he sends drones to take part in battles for him. Finally, we're here at the last subcategory, the fight could go either way with or without weapons category. This is for the characters who would put up a good fight against Hercule without any weapons or augmentations, and the fight could still go either way because we don't have feats that prove they're clearly stronger than him. So starting us off will be Class B rank 20 Glasses, who I think would give Mr. Satan a pretty decent fight considering this man managed to both dodge and land a hit on weakened Garou. However, even so, I do think more often than not Mr. Satan would win because his speed based on the disappearing thing is clearly way higher. Moving into the class's top 10, we have Class B rank 6 Wild Horn. Now initially I thought he'd make the previous category, however considering that he took the recoil of his Pile Bison combined with his own strength which snapped a tree, it's fair to say he's actually a lot stronger than we thought. Into the top 3, we have Class B rank 3 Mountain Ape. Now with this guy, I can honestly see the fight going either way because he's probably stronger than Mr. Satan in terms of strength. However, I do believe that Mr. Satan's faster and more agile, so it would depend on who's more skilled. Now we end this class with Class B rank 2 Eyelashes. This guy is probably higher than Mountain Ape because he also uses a weapon, but I do think that without a weapon, he'd put up a decent fight as it's a weird close range one, so he probably has some mad skills with them that got him his rank. But without them though, I think Mr. Satan would have an easier time fighting him than Mountain Ape. Moving up, we have Class A rank unknown Heavy Kong. Now I'm not sure if he'd definitely beat Mr. Satan in a fair fight, but I'm sure he'd put up a pretty good fight without his weapon. Remember, Mr. Satan doesn't lack power though, after all, he sent a man flying of similar size out of the ring. Into the high ranks of Class A, we have Class A rank 29 Narcissus Stoic. Now we don't know much about him, but since he is a high level Class A who uses hand-to-hand combat, it's fair to assume that he can give the champ a good fight. One spot up is Class A rank 28 Spring Mustachio. His sword actually has abilities, which makes the gap between him and the Atomic Samurai disciples way bigger, strength-wise. However, since he's strong and fast enough to slash through metal and concrete, he's worthy of this category. In the penultimate spot, we have Class A rank 19 Lightning Max. Now even though he also beat a crow monster like Snek, The reason Snek made the other category is because Max uses a pair of shoes which greatly augment his speed and power in battle, unlike Snek who uses his own strength, and based on his performance at the martial arts competition where we saw him without these shoes, I don't think he's definitely capable of defeating Hercule. Finally, we close with Class A rank 16, Butterfly DX. He's here because his only weapon is his wings, which let him fly, but he's still a hand-to-hand fighter, and since he's high up in the A ranks, he should be able to put up a good fight. Without the wings though, I think his strength would still allow him to be pretty evenly matched with the champ. And that is every hero Mr. Satan can possibly beat in a fight. Possibly, that is. So let's move on to the final category that you've all been waiting for. At last, we finally arrived at the reason you clicked the video, the can category. This is for the heroes who Mr. Satan can without a doubt defeat in any kind of fight, even if the opponent has a weapon. For example, if a character uses a close combat weapon but they are of low skill, then our champ would be too much for them based off his feats. So starting us off, we have ex-Class C hero, All Back Man, who's just a guy with a slicked back hairstyle. Yes, he managed to survive a blow from the Deep Sea King, but he's nothing compared to Mr. Satan flying into a mountain, and our champ managed to get back up with a little nose pain. Remember, Mr. Satan is legitimately the world martial arts champion, so there's no way some Class C nobodies can touch the guy. Up next is Class C rank unknown, Swim, a character we saw in the 5th special, and look, there's no way this frail little girl can take Mr. Satan even if she uses a trident in the manga. Moving on, we have Class C rank unknown, Water Gun. Now I'm sorry, but it's gonna take more than a water gun to stop a man who can drag 4 buses. Next is Class C rank unknown, Shoulder Pads. Now while he looks like he's wearing Saiyan armor, it definitely cannot stop one of those megaton punches that can break through metal. And the last Class C with an unknown rank is Class C rank unknown, Mohican. And as another Class C hero who doesn't use a weapon, he doesn't really stand a chance, does he? Now on to more obvious picks, we start with Class C rank 385, Red Nose. Now come on, must I even bother explaining? He's currently the lowest ranking Class C we know about. Jumping a few, we have Class C rank 359, Saturn Man. He's some scrawny guy with a Saturn gimmick. I'd be surprised if he didn't break from one punch from the champ. Next up is Class C rank 347, Hyotoko. He's just another scrawny guy whose gimmick is wearing a thief mask. Need I say more? No. Moving on, we have Class C rank 331, Bun Bun Man. Now while he's the first guy in this category who looks like he'd put up a decent fight, he got one shot by the Deep Sea King and doesn't use any weapons, so he doesn't stand a chance. Up next is Class C rank 295, Studless. Now look at this. This ridiculous guy cannot touch the champ. Moving on, we have Class C rank 179, Icolo G. I know this guy has an axe, but he's clearly not skilled at using it. He must be another brute with no skill, which justifies his low rank in C class. Hercule's skill in fighting should allow him to easily evade his attacks and wear him down before he makes his move, like he did against Spopovich. Jumping a few ranks, we have Class C rank 66, Food Battler Futoshi. He's basically a B-Tech fat gum from My Hero Academia, as he just gets skinny, but he can't even use the burnt fat as an attack. That won't help against the champ. Moving into the top 50 of the class, we have Class C rank 40, Funeral Suspenders, who's decent with hand-to-hand combat, but an average martial artist from One Punch Man ain't enough to beat the champ from Dragon Ball. Now we have his partner, Class C rank 22, D-Pad. He's a pretty good martial artist, but just like with Funeral Suspenders, that's not enough to face the champ. Next up is actually the first tank top to ever appear in the show, Class C rank 13, Tank Top Tiger. Now while he does look pretty strong, I don't think his skill in martial arts is proficient enough to beat Hercule. I'm pretty sure old Spopovich could take him, so Mr. Satan definitely would. Up next is best hero ever, Class C rank 1, Moomin Rider. Now I have a lot of love for this man, but look, other than his surprisingly really high endurance, he can't compete with Mr. Satan. He can't even beat some from Class C, but he stays at the top of the class because he's popular with the people. Moving up a class, we have Class B rank unknown, Pineapple. I'm sorry, but dressing like a pineapple doesn't make a regular fighter strong enough to beat the champ. Also, I'm almost certain Rhino Wrestler would have given Mr. Satan's Megaton Punch a much higher score than his Pineapple Punch. Next up is Class B rank 93, Mushroom. I'm sorry, but a guy in a mushroom themed outfit with a bowl cut is not strong enough in any way to beat Hercule. And now we have our final tank topper, Class B rank 81 tank top Black Hole. Now yes, he has a decent grip, but so what? Hercule can dodge. Other than that, the man ain't that impressive. Up next is Class B rank 77 Bone. Now while this guy is pretty durable, I don't think he's all that because all his bones were broken with a hit from this creature who definitely didn't hit him harder than Cell did Mr. Satan. Also, Hercule's definitely a better and more powerful fighter. And finally, the last hero from One Punch Man Mr. Satan can defeat is Class S rank 7 King. Now there wouldn't have been anyone higher than Class B in this category, however thanks to Season 2, we now know that King is a fraud. The reason he's Class S is because he got the credit for Saitama's work before he joined the Hero Association, and now we all know he's just a guy who looks tough. And that is every hero from One Punch Man that Mr. Satan can, can't, and could in certain situations defeat in a fight. Now as promised, I will provide my estimate for what hero class and rank he would have, and so I have determined that he would go in Class B rank 2 max, and that's because he will never be able to exceed Fubuki, even though he's as tough as some A-class heroes. But I do believe that him, Eyelashes and Mountain Ape would regularly swap ranks because they're so similar in strength, and I also think he would join the Blizzard group because Fubuki's too powerful for him to stand up to. And as for his hero name, it would probably be Mr. Satan or the Champ, because what other name would fit him? Or maybe Afro Moustache, because he has an afro and a moustache. I don't know. Now if you guys do disagree with any of my decisions, then too bad, because this was all my opinion. So please don't get too triggered. After all, I'm just talking about TV shows. And remember, if you don't want some wavy looking anime t-shirts, hoodies, or accessories, be sure to check out Kaioken clothing in the link below, using the code TELBY for 10% off. So once again, I appreciate you man taking your time to watch this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and bless.